My name is Chad Miller. I'm an English teacher at Kailua High School, and what you're going to see today is junior English. And basically what the Kailua High School vision is for our English department is we want kids to leave here being able to think, and not just think verbally, because that's pretty easy to do in discussion. Not necessarily easy, but it's easier to do. We want them to be able to think in writing. And that's been a struggle we've had over the past 5 years. So what we've done over 4 years is we've went to the University of Hawaii, their philosophy department, and we use philosophy for children as our main mode of instruction. So 9 through 12, these students will have philosophy for children each and every single English class. And what that means is our main objective is to use philosophical discussion as the main mode of improving their thinking. So essentially what we see is philosophy requires rigorous thought, but it also requires the students to be engaged. It requires them to take part and be empowered in their own schooling. So we've set up an environment that's intellectually safe, where they feel that they're part of it, that it's something that they own, but they also are comfortable in. So they don't have to act like somebody they're not. Their ideas are going to be heard and listened to by all and taken seriously. And then we've given them the tools. The Good Thinkers Toolkit is a tool that we use to help them formulate not only their good questions, but also to identify the aspects of good thinking. And lastly, we engage them in writing every single day to help improve that, to transfer the ideas that we have in discussion onto paper. So all in all, what you're going to see is philosophy in action, and it's a different thought of philosophy. This is something that we do. It's not something that is done to us. This is what the plan is for today. This is our last discussion we're going to have for The Alchemist before we start getting into our final projects. You guys know that your final projects are going to be basically a paper, right? A paper that's supposed to show all the thinking that we've been doing based on the reading, but more importantly, you're going to be doing this philosophical thinking on paper. Stuff that you practice, that you've been doing a PIQ on it. I'm going to get you back your PIQs tomorrow, so you can have something to look from. But tomorrow we're going to start shaping what that final is going to look like. For today, what we're going to do is we are going to pose some questions. So I want you guys, can we get out our journals and your books? And you guys are going to pose some questions in order for us to use the book to really try to figure some things out. So like what we do a few times a week, we're going to do plain vanilla today. We're going to do some writing, and we're going to do some reflecting. And that should take us through the day. Unless anybody has a better plan. South wind, see, that's not going to work. All right, so what I want you guys to do, I want you to look through your books. I want you to look through your journals. You guys posed some questions yesterday. I want you to look through. I want you to find one of the questions that's still like eating at you, still like there, that you have this thirst to answer, or maybe it might be a new question that came up yesterday in your small group discussion, or it might be something you were thinking about last night that you have. Once you have that question, once you get that question, I want you to go grab a marker and write it down next to a number, please. I'm all 13. This is something new, I guess. All over the place. Sorry, Joel. You're number one. Hi, Isaac. How are you? Philip, you need some help? You're good. You good?
Bless you.
Hey, is John not here though?
No, he's sick. I saw him this morning. He went home. He's just fixing
Hey, this is school's not a place to be if you have that. And Taylor's out too. Yeah. Wait, you changed up the number? So how am I supposed to say this roar one? Is that what?
You gotta do the dinosaur.
Nah, I'll figure it out. Asai, what do you mean? What is true happiness? Oh, what is true happiness? Okay, I see what you mean. I had to say it out loud because I thought, what is true happiness?
How does that even make sense in your head? Like, come on. What is true?
What's up? Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, we have somebody absent, so.
How does it make sense in your head? What is true?
I was seeing what is true happiness. I had to say it out loud to hear it. I had to say it out loud. Give me a break. Serious, coming in handy, huh? Yeah.
I saw you running yesterday. It's calling you.
I'm coming right behind you. G-A-U-R-R-E-N-T-E-E. Oh, oh. Hey, make sure you put your question up too. Remember it from yesterday? Look up. All right, guys, as you're waiting, start checking out the questions. I want you to have a good idea, so when I read them, that's the first time you've seen them or heard them. So start checking out the questions, thinking about which one that you're interested in. thoughts, right? Into his thoughts? Is that what it says? Okay.
Oh, that's wrong.
Got it?
Okay, if you could read that, that'd be so awesome.
I know what you're talking about. Okay, guys. Are you ready? I'm going to read through the questions. I want you guys to listen. I want you to find the one that you most want to talk about, the one that you think is going to challenge your thinking, that you find to be the most interesting. You're going to get 2 votes. You can put them on the same question, or you can put them on 2 different ones. Okay, first question. Are dreams the connection gateway to the future, heaven, and the soul of the world? What are the reasons we make it up? What are the reasons we make things so complicated? What are the reasons people would do anything for love? Ooh, rar. Yay. What are the reasons why it's so hard to trust someone when they've forgotten how to rely on their own instincts? What are the reasons we hold ourselves back? Ooh, rar. I don't know what that is. Okay, to what extent can society influence us? And in what ways can we avoid such influence? Quote, the human heart dies a slow death, shedding hopes like leaves, there is nothing left. Can I infer that people who don't fulfill their personal legend, that their hearts are already dead? Okay, if it is true, interfering with other personal legends ruins your chances of fulfilling your own, then why do we want to change so many things that have their own personal legends? Is being told you can't do something a motivation to prove the person wrong? What is our purpose? If we're here for nothing, why do we live by rules and live our lives by daily routines? What is true happiness? And can we all obtain it? World peace style, yo. Okay, what are the reasons people reject love? Can I assume they are also rejecting the soul of the world? People who don't get love will crave it at first, then become accustomed to the feeling of individualism. So does this mean that love doesn't have to exist in order to be happy? If we are all made from the same soul, then is everyone our twin soul? Then shouldn't everyone love one another? If someone fails to fulfill their personal legend, then does that personal legend that person failed to achieve become someone else's personal legend at the end of the story? Can I assume that our fears regulate our actions instead of our conscience? Is our personal legend actually the journey to getting somewhere? Do we need to find an alchemist to learn all these languages that are mentioned in the book, or can we find it, or can we find ourselves? What do you mean by the existence of the world is simply a guarantee that there exists a world that is perfect? Can I infer that I can't read that, sis. Wait, okay, let me start over here. Why am I having such a hard time reading this? Okay, what do you mean by the existence of the world is simply a guarantee that there exists a world that is perfect? Can I infer that the world is only an image and a copy of paradise? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, what are the reasons personal legends even exist? And if they didn't, what would we live for? When one is loved, there's no need to understand what's happening because everything happens within you. What does that mean? Or what does this mean? Is the pursuit of your dream or dreams worth losing what you've already achieved? Can you really be satisfied with yourself and life if you give up your dream or dreams? If someone gives up on their own personal legend, does it become someone else's? If we know our personal legend, should we share it? What are the reasons bad things happen to good people and vice versa? Can I infer fear forces one to understand the soul of the universe, like when Santiago feared death and had to dig deeper into his thoughts? The secret of happiness is to see all the marvels of the world and never to forget the drops of oil on the spoon. then if this is true, if you concentrate on just one aspect of the world, you will never fully understand the universe. What are our personal flaws? Or in other words, what holds back a person from living or achieving what they want to do? What are the reasons love makes us do some ridiculous things? And lastly, what is the elixir of life and the philosopher's stone? Wow. High fives all around. Awesome questions. Yeah. High fives all around. All right, Nate. Nate, thanks for always getting the enthusiasm going.
I'm pumped now. I'm ready to answer any question.
Okay, who wants to start us off? This isn't going to work.
21 and 7.
Both on 21. 7 and 28.
What's that? 20 and 28. All right, what are we starting with? Did I get everybody? Okay, 7. The question is, the human heart dies a slow death, shedding hopes like leaves, so there is nothing left. Can I infer that people who don't fulfill their personal legend, that their hearts are already dead? Okay, whose question is number 7? Can you guys pull out your journals, please? Open up to a new page and make sure you write down the question. Remember, the reason why I'm having you write down the question is because this is going to help us not only for the alchemist essay, but it's also going to help us for at the end of the year. We're going to look back at all the questions that we've talked about this year. Does anybody need any clarification? The human heart dies a slow death, shedding hopes like leaves till there's nothing left. Can I infer that people who don't fulfill their personal legend, that their hearts are already dead?
I have a question. What are we defining as the personal legend? Like, did we come to an overall consensus in our last discussion?
No, I just from. Do you want to clarify? I think just for the purpose of this, I think we might be better off if we didn't have a universal definition. If we just kind of make it that becoming definition, the one that we've been struggling with. I think let's just use that. right, guys, so as you're finishing up, this is how it's going to work. Tatsi's question. She's going to start us off. She's going to try to explain where the question came from, and then she's going to give us the first answer. We're going to do our best to figure out an answer, but as you guys know, questions are going to come up, and the end result when we leave today is going to be connected, but we're not necessarily sure where we're going to end up. So let's get everybody going. This is our last one. Let's make it the best one. Our questions sure indicate that we're on that track. This has been three plain vanillas in a row that our questions have just upped the ante each and every time. So the standard is being raised each and every time. Let's make sure the discussion is following. So, Tassi, ready?
So I guess what led me to this question is when I went back in the book last night and I decided to read it again. But when Santiago was talking to his heart, and then he asked the alchemist why it was so emotional, and the alchemist told him that his heart was alive, it kind of got me thinking that if his heart's alive because he's listening to it, then is everybody else's hearts that don't listen to their heart dead? And then it kind of also confirmed it when like the bandits in the ending, when he was telling him, when he told Santiago, like some guy told me about this person that I did, but that's just fake. I guess that kind of made me think that maybe people's hearts are already dead because people don't listen.
The way I approached this question, I was thinking that we may spend our whole life searching for this personal legend, be it our purpose in life or the way people remember us for what we've done with our life. But I don't think our hearts die if we don't find it. I don't think they die until we do. Because unless our tree, metaphorically speaking, has very few leaves as it is, and we don't have very many hopes and they all die out, we can still plant new trees. We don't have to sit around the house feeling sorry for ourselves with dead hearts.
I guess I was kind of thinking the same thing as Sai. It's like, how can the universe tell if you're not going to finish your personal legend? Like, if it already knows that you're not going to finish it, like, from the beginning, then why does it even make one for you? And then, like, you can say that we can change any time, but then is the heart really dead, or is the not doing it seen as, like, a break? Yeah.
Oh, up and over.
That's pretty dope.
It's better than me.
I think like if you don't like not fulfilling your personal legend, like I think personal legends give like your heart hope, I guess. Like it makes it alive instead of killing it, because like it's just the idea that you're meant on like to be on this earth for something, which is what I think your personal legend is. So like the idea that you're meant for something and that you have to find it like is like a mystery, and then it might give your heart like hope to push forward and whatever. It's because you have to find it. Kind of like pirates and treasure. Like they'll just keep it for treasure because like even though they didn't find it, they know it's out there somewhere, so they'll keep going. So yeah.
What I thought about it was like maybe in a way that person could be like on borderline, like they'll give up like for a little bit, like like when you're playing sports or like you just try a new sport and you're like, oh, I can't do this, but then the rest of the team is like, oh yeah, good job, you can do it, and like maybe it'll like revamp the heart and bring it back on track, like it'll keep beating, and then like so maybe like it's not really dead, it's just like relaxing for a bit.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
Go.
I kind of thought that I was wondering if your heart could die before you could, and I was also wondering if it can die before you can. Is there a way to revive it? I mean, is there a way to like have hope again? And then also I was thinking, if all hope is lost, can we still attempt to try things through faith?
I was like on the same track as like making new ones and stuff like that. But then I started to think like, can you still find your personal legend without seeking after it? And like, can it come naturally? And then I said, is it okay for us not to find a personal legend? Because what happens to the people that haven't heard of these personal legends?
I don't think the heart is dead because the person might have a shield on their heart protecting it from what might happen if they were to complete their personal legend. And I put that person could also be afraid that they might find nothing at the end, like the personal legend. He said that if it's the thought of Becca that keeps me alive, but he said that he was afraid if my dream is realized, I'll have no reason to go on living.
And that was a crystal merchant, right? Okay.
I don't think that our hearts are dead. I think that our hearts are just in, not in the right place. Like in Santiago, in 64, he kept telling himself that he wants to go back to the fields and take care of his flock, but he realized he wasn't happy because maybe that wasn't his real dream, or his real dream. So I was thinking that maybe I can't remember what I was saying. But also, I think the heart is the secret of happiness.
I don't think, like, if you don't fulfill your personal legend that it's dead. It's I think it has yet to live. Because to me, the personal legend has a beginning and end, and where we truly find ourselves is the journey in between. And that if we haven't gone through that journey yet, we are unable to talk to our hearts and listen to what it's speaking or what it's trying to tell us. And that because I'm thinking that the heart is part of you and knows you entirely and knows your fears and loves and what you do. So that to start to understand what your heart is talking about, you gotta go through that personal legend, that journey in between.
I was thinking about what Isaiah said earlier, like about the heart and how even though you don't experience and stuff, but like if you don't experience your personal legend, like you don't miss it because you never actually experienced it before. So I would think that your heart's just in a different place and that you're happy where you are, but if you did experience your personal legend, you'd be even more happy.
I was thinking that maybe your heart doesn't die, it'll go to the soul. Like they said, once you die, your heart will return to the soul of the world. So maybe it just returns there. And I was thinking, it can die because you don't listen to it. Like they said, Santiago would lose his heart, and the omens would stop talking to him, and he stayed at the oasis instead of going after his dream. And then that got me thinking, only the people that go after their personal legends can understand the language of the world, and so can we learn the language of the world if we go after our personal legends? Like how we talk, how do we find it, and how do we learn the language of the world?
Going back to what Sierra said, like, what about the people who don't know about personal legends? Like, that wouldn't be really fair for their heart to die, you know? So I was thinking, in the book, we weren't supposed to know what our personal legends are. Like, it was a big secret, so how are we supposed to know what to go after? And what if we just never, like, follow the right path and we don't end up fulfilling our personal legend? And what, we just, like, die after that? And then going back to what Roxanne was saying about like Mecca and how the merchant was just thinking about it and how the thought keeps him alive. Maybe you don't have to fulfill your personal legend, but just knowing what it is and knowing that you have the choice to go, that could keep you going. That could do it for you.
Well, I don't think that people who don't fulfill their personal legend that their hearts are already dead. Because how do we know what is a personal legend? How do we define what it is? Also, I think that the human heart does die slow death, but it's about yourself and what you need to do. To really think about it, like a personal legend, are there many significant things to having a life? Do you just have one? And does a personal legend is something you search for, or does it just come naturally? I guess we can't really say what a personal legend is because I feel that it's expressed in ways that we know.
Yeah, I think the last thing you said there is like how do we express what it is? The first way I took it was like I assumed what the heart was, and I thought of it much like you guys. I think it's like I'm understanding it to be like the spirit or the purpose or the thing that motivates you to like do something. And then I was thinking, well, how do we know that we fulfilled our personal legend, whatever that thing is? Because it seems to me like I wonder if we have to do it in this life, because we might be thinking of it in terms of like 73 years, and it might be something much larger that we can't wrap our minds around even. But then I was thinking, well, how do you know that you've achieved it? Because for Santiago, they make it seem as if, oh, he found a treasure, so therefore he must have found his personal legend. I think that the two just might have coincided, whereas I don't think we can rely on finding a treasure in order to find ours, whatever it is. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be like winning the jackpot in Vegas when there's lights and stuff going off and like ding, 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 and everyone's coming around being like, I found it, awesome. I don't think that's...
You got my legend.
Yeah, there's not going to be a parade for you. I'm pretty positive that's going to happen. I'm just wondering, like, maybe it's just a realization, and then if it's a realization, that comes back to that discussion we had a couple days ago about it being like a feeling. It's something that we might actually. It's just like this feeling. Maybe it's a feeling of being at peace or at ease, or maybe it's like a thank God that's over type feeling. I'm not really sure what this is. And on this side.
Yeah, good job. I don't have anything to say.
Sorry.
But like, what if your personal legend is to fail, like, so that it would help someone else to fulfill their personal legend? But like, that would suck for you. Just
Do we need to search for our personal legend? And like, if so, why do we even have it? Like, if we just kick back, are we gonna miss it? And that's why I was thinking, like, why have one if we're not gonna? If some people aren't even gonna fulfill it. So I was thinking maybe if you just live your life instead of spending all this time searching for it, you'll find it no matter what, or else, or why have it? And then I was thinking something else, but I can't remember.
Mine was next, actually.
I was thinking, like, what if someone's personal legend like came early on in their life rather than someone else's later on in life? What is the difference? Like, does the person who has to achieve theirs that takes longer, is their heart dead until they find it? Or like, yeah, because like, is the person that gets it early on, is he gonna just be happy his whole life? Like, does he have to do anything else to satisfy his personal legend?
I was thinking that maybe like I had a question. I don't remember when I went on the board, but I remember saying that what if like you had a dream that like, who knows, it could have been like a sneak peek into your personal legend, but then like it's a dream, so like most people they don't really know what they dream about, and then
Well, like what you said, what if your personal legend is to fail? I don't like to think of it as to fail. I think of it as to help others. Like, if your personal legend is to help someone else realize that.
So it's not to fail, it's actually to be like a teammate or...
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, like, they were just saying, like, to fail would help them out or whatever. But didn't they say in the book, like, people are in the universe are supposed to help you to get to your legend, so by them not getting that thing, maybe they're, like, pushing you to get to that legend. And then I was thinking, like at the end of the book, when he found his legend, like, after he found it, like, what motivates us to keep going? Like, does his heart die? It's like, is that when we're dead too? Like, once we just find it, like, oh, nothing's gonna motivate me to, like, keep going and everything. So then, I was like, because, like, in the book, we're like, oh my gosh, what did he even find? And then at the end, we're like, oh, that was, like, a really lame ending. He just found a treasure. Wow, that's great. But, like, maybe, like, our personal legend is to just, like, go through all those things to get to one goal, because like he went through a lot in all that time that he was trying to find his legend and stuff. So
okay, so my question was like kind of like Maya's and then it relates to Shannon's is, like, is there an age difference in finding, or is there an age limit in finding your personal legend? Because, like, what if people, like, that's what they live for, like, that's their motivation to find their personal legend. So what happens if, like, a kid finds their personal legend? What else are they going to live for? Since you have, like, one when you're younger and then one when you're older.
Maybe a personal legend is kind of, I kind of think like it's relating to like you know how you have dreams, like once that dream's over, you go to make a new dream.
To what Sierra said, I was
I just read the quote again, and maybe it's not the heart that it's talking about. Maybe it's talking about your soul, because your heart can never really die without you actually dying as well. So maybe like you still have all your emotions when you don't follow it, but you just that your soul is gone.
And what would happen then? Like it's just you don't have.
Maybe if your soul dies, maybe it's like you don't have connection to the universe.
Like how Jeremiah and Sarah were saying about like if you find your personal legend when you're younger, would a personal legend when you're younger have as much like seriousness to it as if you found one when you're older? Because like Santiago, when he was like 10, he couldn't travel to the pyramids by himself, but since he was older, he could do that. Like so. Can a personal legend change with age?
I like how Mr. Miller brought out earlier, like, how do we know when we found our personal legend? Because if we spend like all our time searching for it, we're trying out all these new things, saying that it might be our personal legend, how do we know if we found the one? That's why I think, like I like how it was said that maybe the personal legend is like your dreams, and once that one's done, you make new ones. Because if not, if it's just one thing, then you're pretty much done afterwards. And it's thinking, why not? Do we have to look for it? Why not just kick back and wait for it to come to us? Or why go through all that trouble to look for it when it really makes no sense not to have it fulfilled?
I think I've kind of worked it down to a system where it's like your heart, you know, no one can find a personal legend on their own. So I was thinking, in the whole throughout the book, it says like there's so many omens and they just pop up randomly. And so I was thinking that your heart is the thing that helps you follow the omens and into the right path. But then it is our choice whether we listen to it or not. And it is our choice whether we follow the omens. Whether we go on this journey to find our personal legend. And in the book it also said that men want, or not just men, but people want the treasure of their personal legend, but they don't want to live out their personal legend. So, like, bad thoughts.
Okay, so I think everything happened for a reason, and going back to what Sierra said, what if we don't know what our personal legend is? So like, okay, for example, like, so we're all teenagers, and some of us might not know what our personal legend is. So we're not really trying to fulfill it right now, but like, what if for some reason, like, we died? And we died, okay, so we're in a car and the driver is like drunk, and we got in a car crash and we died. Everyone in the car died, and none of us fulfilled our personal legend. So what if after we died, like, there's this huge thing like on the news and like all over TV and stuff about all these teenagers dying, and like a bunch of people learn from this that like, oh, you shouldn't get in a car driving drunk and stuff like that. So we didn't really make our personal legend. It just kind of happened from our death. Like, we didn't even know about it too because we're dead. So like, some people, like the people that I guess told everybody about us driving drunk pretty much like made our personal legend for us. Like that true? Like, did that really happen?
Good example, Jane.
Well, maybe our personal legend isn't necessarily the ending of our story. Maybe it's the journey on the way. Like, did you ever hear the poem, The Dash, or whatever? It's like from the time that you're born to the time that you die, there's a dash, you know? Just that little dash is your life. So,
Wait, what is this called? How am I not? I'm never. It's called the dash.
I think. I don't know. But it's
Okay.
like a.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So maybe like the personal legend, because we don't know what it is. It's just like love. We don't know what it is. So how do we know what we're looking for? Maybe it's just what we've been through and stuff, what we've learned.
We're coming over this way, so hold on. I know you guys have been waiting patiently.
What if a personal legend is really just the desire of like what our soul wants? Like I thought, like in the beginning, I kind of got like Santiago. He was content with being a shepherd, but he always dreamed of going out finding treasure.
What if it's possible to gain your personal legend, but also lose it? Yes.
I think the personal legend is just something that betters ourselves as a person, and that at the end of a personal legend, we start a new legend. Like, when Santiago decided not to be a shepherd anymore, he decided to journey off to find his treasure or something. And then after he finished finding his treasure, he found like happiness and like love, and he found that a new understanding of the universe. And now he's, after that legend, he's going back to Fatima. And I guess he's gonna start a family and everything. So is a personal legend is just something that betters ourselves and just helps us start a new journey in our life. It creates a chapter for us to continue.
What Jamie said, like maybe the personal legend would be to teach others a lesson so they could live on. And then what Jeremiah said, like if your soul dies, you become detached from the world, and yeah. And then if your personal legend, maybe your personal legend is what you live for, but once you realize your personal legend, what's there to live for? So what's the reason for life?
You know how we were saying like sometimes a personal legend can be to teach other people, like so like you raise them up here and then they go on their own. Like what if, like Jamie said, you died before that, like happens since where it's like you're older than the person and the person is still like a child, and then like you die and then you were supposed to like raise them a certain way. Like, what happens to their personal legend? Like, can it change, or does someone else's change to step up to what you miss out on?
It's like your everyday life ahead to your personal legend. When you do things, is like a day, like is it like a week? That's good.
I think I've had an idea where about 3 minutes ago that started to make some sense to me about this whole concept. But Jamie, your example throws me off. The idea of dying young kind of throws me off, because I was thinking like maybe this, and it's going back to what Maya said a little bit earlier about a connection to the universe. So I was wondering, like, what if your personal lesson or legend is simply like you find yourself, like, you know, like those electronic race car tracks that you guys probably didn't have them, but I had them growing up. And like, if you make it go too fast, the car flies off the track. Do you guys all know what I'm talking about? I have no idea. Okay. So at least they still make those. I'm glad to know that. So it makes me think like maybe that's the personal legend, is we're all supposed to be on a track. of some sort. And maybe that track isn't necessarily like, I don't want to say it's determinism or fatalism or anything like that, but there's a track that we're supposed to be on. And maybe when you have your personal lesson or legend, it's not about the place or the destination that you go, but it's about just being connected on the right spot where you're supposed to be at that moment in time. And so it's really, the legend isn't something that you achieve and then like, done. It's almost just like this feeling like, yeah, this is exactly how it's supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be right now. It's like a bigger connection than we could ever understand. It's like this ultimate belonging that you become one with. And we keep coming back to this example, but like it's almost like an avatarian way of looking at things. Like you kind of understand yourself in a much larger concept. So your personal legend is really an ongoing thing. It's just like an understanding, a feeling about being in the right spot. But like I said, Jamie's example really gives me, what about like babies or children that die? I mean, no, maybe this occurred. Oh, I'll come back to me. I don't know. Yeah, come back to me.
I was thinking, can you die with hope in your heart? I mean, like, if you die young and you don't know what's coming, and then you're still like planning on like going to like college or getting a job, getting married, what happens to that hope in your heart? Does it just become part of your soul, and then it just gets recycled into the soul world, and then come back as a new person, but you still have some of your hopes that you had in your other life, maybe? And then I was also thinking that we're all talking about like the journey to the personal legend and then actually getting to the personal legend, but we haven't really talked much about after the personal legend, like, or after you get that feeling, like what I was talking about. And like, I think that the book meant by living out your personal legend is that by you continue on with the knowledge that you gained from your personal legend and the experience that you got from it, and just continuing with that. But then I think that maybe there are some people who will, I don't want to say forget, it's not quite the word, but forget what they learned getting to the personal legend and end up like back almost to the way that they were before the personal legend. And if that happens, then do they get a second personal legend? Is that their second chance to continue? And in that one, do they learn to not forget?
Sierra, then Fritz.
Okay, so I was thinking like, so Santiago didn't discover what his personal legend was until he was older. So he lived how many years before he like started getting the dream, and then so like that the dream is what revealed his personal legend to him. And like a lot of people really wouldn't take that because hasn't everyone had like a dream more than once? And like if I had one, like I wouldn't think that's my personal legend. Like when I was little, I had a dream like a monster was chasing me around my house, but that's not my personal legend. But then like he decided like it had meaning to him, so then he like looked further into it. So then my question off of that was like, does your personal legend wait till it can be achieved before it reveals itself? So like if he had gotten the dream earlier, he wouldn't have been able to go to the pyramids, so it wouldn't have meant anything to him. But then since he was able to and he was in a position where he could sell his sheep and go, then it was possible.
Okay, I think a personal legend, like from what I'm hearing, is like leaving your mark or like leaving a name for yourself. Because like what Jamie said, you might not know your personal legend, like if you died young in a car accident or something. But like if you're like big in the community or something, or like what Santiago did, like he went through all the merchant and the king, and like he was well known around everywhere that he went. And then in the desert, when he was traveling with the alchemists, like they all knew who he was and stuff. And then so if you died young and you left a name for yourself, I guess that's fulfilling your personal legend too, because you made a legend personally.
So it's like a legacy of sorts.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna sound kind of confusing at first, but You know how when you're driving around and you're trying to get somewhere and then you miss your turn and you're like, oh crap, so I gotta go back. But you don't want to go back, so you're like, okay, there's another turn, I can get there through a different road. So going back to what Miller was talking about, like how there's like a track that we have to be on with the race cars. Maybe if we hit a road bump and like the person who was supposed to raise us passed away, that isn't going to be the end of it. You know, there's always going to be another way to get through whatever there is, because you have to anticipate that there's going to be obstacles throughout life. So there's not only going to be one set road that you have to follow. You have to go right and then take the second left on, it's going to be the third house, you know? Like you can take other roads to get where you want to be.
Is there always a track that's out there even though you can't see it? Like you think it's this way, and something happens, and then you realize that it's another way?
Maybe it's not a track, since like so many people like don't know what it is and don't even know that it exists, or know that, or just don't know about it. Could it not be a track? Could it just be like you're in the desert or somewhere just plain and you just have no idea where to go? And then there's just these little hints that just flash in front of you every once in a while, and you're like, what was that? And you can either be like, that was cool, I should go towards it, or you can be like, that was weird, I'm going this way.
Dog.
So I have a question, like, what if you never got to like fulfill your personal legend and then you died, but then like no one learned anything from your death? So like, did you die for nothing?
Guys, I want to pause here for a second, because we're starting to run out of time, but I want to make sure that we do like a last reflection. So wherever we're at, we're going to pause right here. That doesn't mean the inquiry's over, but I want you to write down your idea that you have. Just what's going on in your mind right now, idea or question that you have right now. I don't remember what that was for.
You're brainstorming, it's just pouring all out of it.
Get your umbrellas out, because I'm about to brainstorm. Isn't that a Jay-Z lyric?
I'm pretty sure
I know it is.
It is, yeah.
Thanks for having my back.
In the ways of Jay-Z.
For the opposite. I didn't know you were going to be
So you-
she like dog in our generation, we were skinny kids.
Yeah. All right, so guys, you ready? You ready? You're right. This idea that you have right now, I want to pass the ball around. Now I want to hear just briefly from everybody, closing thought. We hear from almost everybody, but I want to make sure we hear from everybody before we leave here today. I want to make sure you're thinking. Brittany, you want to start us off?
Alright. Well, my last thought I wrote was, what if your personal legend is
If your personal legend is to die.
Special.
Okay, so.
I don't know, dude. We went everywhere with this. It seems like this conversation was pretty delicious. Like, I was all up on this. Like, it's crazy. I don't even know where to start with my.
I don't even know how to picture that.
But I don't know. I think that we can make our own personal, or like it's already. Frick, dude, I don't know. Like, it's just getting there.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to. Whatever. I'm done.
I like the idea of that. I like it's sort of like a track, and then we can go in obstacles, and we can take a left turn, house 3.
First off, congratulations. This is 2 complex.
Oh my god.
Right on, Nabu.
It's like a family tree for
When you were
conversation.
saying it wasn't a track, I got an idea. Some people, they have a snail race. They put snails in the center and draw a circle around it. And once you get past the circle, you win. Thinking, what if our personal legends are like that? Like you just have to figure out that circle.
So going back to what Leah asked at the end, I put what if, so like nobody learns a lesson from a death. So for example, like a mom gives birth to a still baby. You can't really learn a lesson from that, but that could help someone else's personal legend because like a mom would appreciate maybe her 2-year-old son better and like start raising her son like with more love and stuff. So in the long run, it would help her son like grow up and be loving, I guess.
I guess I'm thinking, so when everyone dies, do they have to leave the world with last thoughts or some sort of lesson, or was their death really just for now?
I think the destination will remain the same even though the road to get there will change.
What I got out of this conversation is that like our life is actually our personal legend. Like our entire life is our personal.
The question is, does everyone's death bring a lesson?
Can I say that the track is just your life and the personal legend? Like, what if the personal legend is in the track with the creation of the car to start going on the track? Like, yeah.
Wait, one more time.
What if our personal legend is in the track with the creation of a car to start going on the track?
Before we die, do you really listen to like facts in your life? So that's pretty cool.
I'm kind of confused and my mind is blank.
Are you okay being confused right now, though? Awesome.
I was thinking, is our personal legend like really hard, or is it
So it's kind of like asking for forgiveness. And okay, so my little drawing over here, I drew a little card thing, and then it's going on the track, and it goes up, and then it's like in the air, because like the track's like this. So it's in the air, and then this is the part where we made a mistake, so we're off track a little bit. And then, like, in religion, like, you ask for forgiveness and you're back on track again. So yeah, that's what I'm
I guess maybe personal legend is like everything that you do in life is basically the personal legend is about getting the process of getting there, and not really that personal what the personal legend is.
It's just what you do.
Yeah, it's just what you do.
But like one thing I got out of this discussion was like our personal legend isn't something like we need to follow, but it's more like a guide like you can follow if you want to be a good path. I like the idea that our personal legend is like your death. Like, but like maybe if we just concentrate too much in that future, like we'll miss out the whole personal legend and the action, like we're waiting for that big thing to happen.
My question is your death the end of your personal legend, or is it the beginning of the personal legend?
So I thought like for our heart to be alive, definitely.
My last thought was like the racetrack thing. If you go too fast in life, you'll lose your life.
My last thought was if you like never knew anybody or did anything great and you died, was that like pointless?
My last thoughts are kind of going back to what Sierra said in the beginning, like what if you don't know your personal legend, or what if you don't even know what a personal legend is? Maybe that's like, blinders on a horse, like how we would say that like conversations. So maybe it's just like that.
I'm still kind of stuck with the idea that maybe it's not a track, and maybe it's just like some kind of open thing, because we're so open to mistakes, and maybe there's not just one way. And maybe, like Hayden said, it's just a guide, just guide us through what we're doing and to lead us to the best way. But then maybe we don't go the best way.
I had what I was going to say when everyone over there was talking. As soon as the ball got closer, I lost it.
Alright, so wait, guys. So we're going to start with you guys tomorrow. But before we leave, I just want to do a quick check, because this is our last discussion. So yeah, it was totally awesome. Okay, so did we scratch beneath the surface?
Yes.
Okay, was it interesting?
Yes.
Okay, how was our listening?
Yes.
Okay, And how was your personal participation today? Alright, awesome guys, good job. Come in tomorrow ready to go think about our papers. We're going to start with you guys. Write down your question that you have.